Beloved child, this message has come to you because something inside you is ready to awaken, even if your mind has not fully understood it yet, because long before you pressed play, your spirit was already searching for answers, searching for peace, searching for the truth of who you really are, and you may have felt restless, disconnected, or quietly tired of living a life that does not reflect your true potential. But know this: nothing is wrong with you, you are simply being called into a higher awareness, and this calling does not always arrive with comfort, it arrives with questions, with uneasiness, and with a feeling that the old way of living no longer fits, and this is not because you are lost, it is because you are growing, because growth always feels like leaving something behind, and you are now being invited to leave behind the version of you that was built on fear, doubt, and limitation, so you can step into the version of you that was created with purpose, strength, and divine intention. And even though you may not see it yet, there is a path opening before you that is more aligned with your heart than anything you have walked before, and every experience you have had up to this moment, every joy and every pain, has been guiding you here, preparing you to receive what you are now ready for, and you must trust that this is not coincidence, because when a soul is ready, guidance appears. And you are receiving it now in the form of this message, and as you listen, something within you will begin to soften, because truth always feels like a gentle remembering, like coming home to yourself after a long time of being away, and you are being reminded that you are not small, you are not powerless, and you are not here by accident, you are here because you have something unique to give to this world. Something that only you can bring, and this gift has been waiting patiently inside you. Even when you doubted yourself, even when you were afraid to try. And it time now to begin honoring that gift, not tomorrow, not someday, but now, in this moment, because every moment you choose to believe in yourself, you create a new future, and even when you feel uncertain, trust that uncertainty is simply the doorway to something new, and every time you step through it, you expand beyond the limits of who you used to be, and you are being called to trust this expansion, to trust the process of becoming, because who you are becoming is far greater than who you have been, and the path ahead, though not fully visible, is filled with possibilities that your old self could not have imagined, and this is only the beginning of a journey that will lead you to deeper peace, clearer purpose, and a life that feels more aligned with your true self than ever before. Beloved child, as you move deeper into this journey, it is time to gently turn toward the parts of your heart that have been holding pain for far too long, because healing does not happen by ignoring what hurt you, it happens when you finally allow yourself to feel it, understand it, and release it, and you may have spent years trying to be strong, trying to move on, trying to convince yourself that you were fine. But deep inside there are memories, disappointments, and heartbreaks that still whisper to you in quiet moments. And these whispers are not here to harm you, they are here to be healed, because every wound you carry is simply asking for your attention and compassion, and you do not have to judge yourself for what you went through, because you did the best you could with what you knew at the time, and the person you were then was simply trying to survive, but now you are ready to live. And living requires you to let go of the past that no longer defines who you are becoming. And you must understand that forgiveness is not about excusing what hurt you, it is about freeing yourself from the weight of carrying it, because when you hold on to pain, it continues to shape your present, but when you release it, you open the door to peace, and peace is the foundation of every beautiful future, and you are being invited in this moment to breathe deeply and imagine placing all of your worries, regrets, and sadness into a gentle light, allowing that light to transform what once felt heavy into something that now feels lighter. And even if you do not know how to let go yet, simply being willing is enough, because willingness begins the process of healing, and you are not expected to be perfect in this. You are only asked to be honest with yourself, to acknowledge what you feel, and to give yourself permission to move forward. And as you do, you will begin to notice that your heart slowly opens again, allowing love, hope, and trust to return, and this openness is not weakness, it is strength, because it takes courage to heal, and you are far more courageous than you realize, and every tear you have cried, every night you stayed awake wondering why things happened the way they did, has been leading you to this moment of release, where you can finally choose to no longer let the past decide your future, and as you step into this choice, something within you will begin to feel freer, lighter, and more peaceful, because you are no longer carrying what was never meant to be yours forever, and this freedom will become the foundation upon which you build the next chapter of your life, one that is filled with clarity, self-respect, and a deeper connection to who you truly are. Beloved child, now that your heart has begun to release what once weighed it down, it is time to remember who you truly are beneath all the pain, the doubt, and the stories you were told about yourself, because your power was never taken from you, it was only forgotten, hidden beneath fear and disappointment, and as you heal, that power is slowly returning, quietly, gently, but with unstoppable force. And you may start to notice that you no longer feel as small as you once did, that you are beginning to question things you once accepted, and this is because you are awakening to your own worth, and this awakening will change the way you walk through the world, because when you know who you are, you no longer beg for what you deserve, you no longer settle for what does not honor you, and you no longer shrink yourself to fit into places that were never meant to hold you, and this is not arrogance, it is self-respect, the deep knowing that your life has value, your voice has meaning, and your dreams matter, and every time you choose yourself, you strengthen this knowing, and every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what fulfills you, and you are learning that your energy is sacred, that where you place your attention is where your life grows, and this awareness is the beginning of true power, because true power is not about controlling others, it is about mastering yourself, your thoughts, your reactions, and your choices, and as you gain this mastery, you will feel a new sense of calm and confidence within, a quiet certainty that no matter what happens around you, you will be able to handle it, because you have already survived so much and come out stronger, and this strength will guide you as you step into new opportunities, new relationships, and new possibilities, and even if you feel afraid at times, you will no longer let that fear stop you, because you now understand that fear is simply sign that you are moving towards something important, and you are brave enough to move forward anyway, and this bravery is what will carry you into the next chapter of your life, one that is shaped not by who you were, but by who you are becoming, and as you continue to reclaim your power, you will realize that you were never broken, only becoming, and everything you went through was shaping you into someone who can now rise with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Beloved child, now that you are remembering your strength and reclaiming your inner power, it is time to understand something even deeper, that your life is not random, and the path you have been walking has never been without purpose, even when it felt confusing or painful, because every step, every delay, and every detour was guiding you toward a destiny that is uniquely yours, and you are now beginning to feel the pull of that destiny, the quiet nudge inside your heart that tells you there is more for you than what you have known, and this feeling is not imagination, it is alignment, the moment when who you are becoming starts to match what you were created to be, and as this alignment grows, you will notice that certain things in your life begin to shift, people who no longer match your energy may drift away, opportunities that once seemed out of reach may begin to appear, and situations that kept you stuck may suddenly lose their power over you, and this is not chaos, it is rearrangement, the universe moving pieces into place so that you can step into a life that feels more authentic, more meaningful, and more fulfilling, and you are being invited now to trust this process, even when you do not understand it fully, because understanding is not required for alignment, only faith is, and every time you choose to listen to your inner guidance rather than your fear, you step closer to the life that is waiting for you, and this life will not look like anyone else's. Because it is meant to reflect who you are, your values, your passions, and your unique way of being in the world, and as you continue to walk this path, you will feel a growing sense of peace, because when you are aligned with your destiny, you no longer feel like you are forcing your way through life. You feel like you are being carried by it, and even when challenges arise, you will face them with a deeper confidence, knowing that they are simply part of the journey, not signs that you are on the wrong path, and one day you will look back and realize that everything you went through was guiding you here, to this place of clarity, purpose, and alignment, where your life finally begins to feel like it truly belongs to you. Beloved child, now that you are aligned with your true path, it is time to open your heart to the abundance that has always been meant for you, because abundance is not something you have to chase, it is something that flows naturally when you believe you are worthy of receiving it, and for a long time you may have felt like you had to struggle for everything, like nothing ever came easily, but this was not because you were meant to suffer, it was because you were learning the value of what you desire, and now that lesson has been learned, and you are being invited into a season where effort begins to feel lighter, where opportunities arrive with less resistance, and where blessings start to appear in ways you did not expect, and you must allow yourself to receive them without guilt, without doubt, and without feeling that you do not deserve them, because you do deserve them. You have grown, you have healed, and you have become someone who is ready to hold more joy, more peace, and more success than before, and as you step into this new energy, you will notice that your mindset begins to change. You will no longer focus on what is missing, but on what is possible, and this shift in focus is powerful, because from this clearer place within yourself, you will notice that your decisions start to feel more aligned, your relationships begin to reflect your values, and your goals begin to feel meaningful rather than forced, and this alignment is the sign that you are walking in your purpose, even if you do not yet have all the details figured out, because purpose is not something you discover in a single moment. It is something you grow into through consistent, intentional living, and every step you take with integrity, honesty, and faith is a step deeper into that purpose, and even when you make mistakes, those mistakes will guide you rather than derail you, because when you are walking in alignment, everything becomes a lesson that leads you forward rather than a setback that holds you back, and you are learning now how to trust this process, how to trust yourself, and how to trust the unfolding of your life. And this trust is the foundation of a peaceful and powerful existence, because when you trust, you no longer need to control everything, you allow things to happen, you allow doors to open and close, and you allow yourself to be guided toward what is meant for you, and this guidance often arrives in subtle ways, through a feeling, a thought, a sudden insight, or a quiet sense of knowing that you cannot explain but cannot ignore, and these moments are the language of your soul, speaking to you in a way that goes beyond logic, reminding you that you are connected to something greater than what you can see, and as you become more aware of this connection, you will begin to feel less alone in the world, because you will realize that you are always being supported, even when things feel uncertain, and this support gives you the courage to keep going, to keep trying, and to keep believing in the possibility of a life that feels more joyful, more meaningful, and more true to who you are. And this belief is what will carry you through the moments when doubt tries to return. Because doubt is simply the mind's way of protecting itself from change, but change is exactly what you are here for, because without change, there can be no growth, and without growth, there can be no fulfillment, and you deserve a life that feels fulfilling, not just busy, not just acceptable, but deeply, genuinely fulfilling, and this is what walking in purpose offers you. A sense of inner peace that comes from knowing that you are living in alignment with your values and your truth, and even when external success has not yet arrived, you will feel successful on the inside, because you will know that you are honoring who you really are, and this inner success is what eventually creates outer success, because when you are aligned on the inside, your actions become focused, your energy becomes clear, and your efforts become powerful, and this power is what will attract the opportunities, the people, and the experiences that will help you continue to grow, and you do not need to chase these things. You only need to stay true to your path, because what is meant for you will always find you when you are in alignment, and this is why it is so important for you to listen to your inner guidance, to respect your own boundaries, and to choose what feels right for your soul, even when it does not make sense to everyone else, because your journey is not meant to be understood by everyone, it is meant to be lived by you. And as you continue to walk forward with faith, you will begin to notice that you feel lighter, calmer, and more confident, because you are no longer fighting against who you are moving with it, and this harmony is what allows life to flow more smoothly, even when challenges appear, and challenges will still appear, but you will meet them with a different mindset now, not as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more aware. And this perspective will transform the way you experience life, because instead of feeling overwhelmed, this growth will continue as long as you remain open, curious, and willing to learn, and learning is the heart of purpose, because purpose is not a destination you reach, it is a way of being that you live every day, through your choices, your actions, and your intentions, and you are now being invited to live in this way, with faith in your heart and clarity in your mind, trusting that even when you do not know exactly where you are going, you are moving in the right direction, and this trust will guide you through every chapter of your life, bringing you closer to the peace, love, and fulfillment you have always been seeking, and one day you will look back at this moment and realize that it was here, in this quiet decision to trust and to walk forward, that everything truly began to change. This is the moment you have been preparing for, even if you did not realize it, because every lesson, every delay, every heartbreak, and every victory has led you here, to this sacred point where your soul is ready to fully step into the life that was always meant for you, and you may feel something stirring inside you as you listen, a quiet recognition that something is changing, and that change is not outside of you, it is within you. Because transformation always begins in the heart before it appears in the world, and you are now standing at the doorway of a new chapter, one that is not written by fear, but by faith, not guided by limitation, but by possibility, and you are being invited to walk through this doorway with courage, knowing that everything you need to succeed, to heal, and to thrive is already within you, waiting to be activated, and this activation does not require you to become someone else. It only asks you to fully become who you truly are, because you're true. Self is not weak, not broken, and not unworthy. Your true self is powerful, creative, loving, and deeply connected to the flow of life, and when you live from this place, you begin to experience a kind of peace that no external situation can take away from you, and this peace becomes the foundation upon which all of your dreams can grow, and you must remember that dreams are not random thoughts, they are messages from your soul, showing you what is possible when you align with your purpose, and you are now ready to listen to these messages, to trust them, and to act on them, even when the path forward is not perfectly clear, because clarity is not something you wait for, it is something that appears as you move, and every step you take in faith creates more light ahead of you, guiding you forward, and this light is not meant to blind you, it is meant to show you where to go next, gently, patiently, and lovingly, and as you follow this light, you will notice that you begin to feel more alive, more inspired, and more confident, because you are no longer living on autopilot, you are living with intention, and intention is what turns ordinary moments into meaningful experiences, and as your life becomes more intentional, it also becomes more fulfilling, because you are no longer reacting to what happens, you are choosing how you respond, and this choice is your greatest power, because when you choose with awareness, you create with purpose, and everything you create from that place carries a higher energy, attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances that match who you are becoming, and this is how destiny unfolds, not all at once, but step by step, through the choices you make every day, and you are now ready to make choices that honor your heart, your values, and your dreams, even when it feels uncomfortable, because growth will always require you to step beyond what is familiar. But what is familiar is not always what is best for you, and you are now wise enough to know the difference, and this wisdom will guide you through the moments when doubt tries to return, reminding you that you have already come so far, and that turning back